Steve Kerr is sponsored by Xfinity. The Xfinity 10G network is made for streaming live sports, which means it's the network you can rely on in the biggest moments. The Xfinity 10G network, the best way to stream live sports. And presented by Great Clips. In sports, success is about team effort, and the same is true for your hair. Great Clips, it's going to be great. I'm taking the kids over there this week. They are starting to look ratty, so that is going to be great. Happy New Year, Coach. How are you?
I'm good. Happy New Year to you guys.
Yeah. So nice win last night, and I think we'd love to start with some fascinating comments from Klay Thompson with regard to a discussion that the two of you had in helping sort of adjust his mindset. What can you share about that conversation?
Well, I mean, I don't really feel comfortable sharing, details of conversations like those, but I know Klay did himself. He I guess he told the story after the game last night. So, without going into detail, I think it's, these are just conversations that I have with players all year, just based on their own sets of circumstances and where they are. And that's a big part of my job, is just trying to help these guys have good perspective and a good approach. And so that was nice of Klay to credit me, with that. But that's all part of the job.
Did you see Klay apply what you were trying to impart in that conversation? And how did you think that Klay played on the heels of you having that conversation with him?
I thought Klay played really well. He got the 3 fouls in the first half, and he only played 9 minutes because of the foul trouble. But second half, he was great. He had a tough matchup with Paolo Banchero, and really battled him and played him well that whole second half, and hit some big shots. I thought he made the key play of the game on the save underneath out of bounds. I think Trace came over and blocked a shot, and the ball was going out of bounds, and Klay saved it, and we got 2 at the other end. That was a momentum changer. So I thought Klay was fantastic.
Coach, I'm mindful that at least Dibs and I don't think we've spoken directly to you since right after you guys beat Boston, your signature win. And then we headed into the holidays, and at that moment, things were really on an uptick, and then you finished off a 5-game win streak. But then there was the dip that started on Christmas Day. So what's your assessment of the overall play since then, since that game against Boston?
Well, we obviously we went to Denver, lost on Christmas Day, in what was a really good battle. I mean, we fought, and I thought we had a real chance, and that loss was not demoralizing at all. It was we came home from that feeling like we very easily could have won that game. So to start the road trip or the homestand with 2 losses was definitely a setback, and that's we really had to respond to that, and we did last night. But look, this is kind of where we are. We're 16 and 17. We've been up and down all year. Our point differential is like plus 0.5. This is who we are right now. We're a 500 team. We've got to get better. We've got to win more of these close games, but we know we can make some strides.
I normally love parades, Steve, but I don't like parades to the foul line. I'll just leave that there in reference to Christmas. I thought your comments were spot on. How do you and the staff go about finding consistency with the team? Not only the rotation and many fans questioning why this player doesn't play and this guy plays too much, but how do you get overall consistency from the players you do choose to play?
Well, it is difficult because we've got 13 guys who all have a case to be in the rotation, and the reality is you can only play 9, maybe 10. So every single night there's going to be 3 or 4 guys who get left out, and it's not an easy way to play. It's not an easy way to coach. So generally, you want to give every player the opportunity to really separate himself from the pack and get consistent minutes. And we just haven't had that happen or haven't had that luxury based on the suspensions, the injuries, guys in and out. And the biggest thing is everyone's just got to stay ready, and when their chance comes, make the most of it. And that's what I tell our guys all the time.
Steve Kerr with us, Willard and Dibs, as he is every single week on 95.7 The Game, and a big win, 121-115 over Orlando last night. And in that game, 19-6 for Jonathan Kuminga. It feels like maybe there is some more consistency than there's been in the past, and obviously he's getting much more of a chance. What do you see right now in the Kuminga development?
I just see consistent minutes, with Draymond being out over the 10 games. I think JK has started every game since Draymond's suspension began. And that's the opportunity that has kind of given him the chance to play through some mistakes and make some strides. I think there's some key areas where he's gotten better, and that's what he needs. He needs the consistent minutes and the time and the leeway to be able to play through those mistakes, and he's doing a really good job of learning from them. I think over the last couple of weeks he's taking better care of the ball. He's not fouling as much, and he's moving the ball quicker. The ball's not sticking like it did, earlier in the season with him. So I'm really happy with his development. He's doing a really good job.
You gave Trace Jackson-Davis the start over Kevon Looney. It feels like, just watching it from afar, that he's growing into his role rapidly. What are you seeing from TJD that has you so excited to put him in the starting lineup more often?
Well, he's a pretty talented young guy, but he's experienced because of the 4 years in college. So we knew right away, first day of training camp, basically, that this guy had a fundamental foundation underneath his game, and that he was going to be playable right away. And, he's different from our other bigs, different from Draymond, different from Loon, plays a little more above the rim, as a shot blocker, as a lob threat. But he's really good positionally. He's strong. He's smart. So Trace is an excellent prospect, and I feel good, putting him out there. And we've decided to start him just to change up the look and search for a little more offense out there to start the game, and he's done a nice job.
Coach, this will be no surprise to you. The pregame comments about Draymond Green getting some space from you guys, and you guys getting some space from him, have led to a lot of commentary and questions with the Warrior fan base and our listeners today. Can I start by asking, going into this whole thing, the thought process from the fan base, an assumption, which clearly was not right, was that he was going to practice and be around the team. Can I ask why is he not?
Well, I think the thinking when he got suspended was this was not a sprained ankle, right? This was not an injury. This is, I think, without going into specifics, I think it was generally understood that he needed to work on some things. And so I think when you look at it in that lens, it's understandable that work would be away from the team. And he's been working out, so he's still training and keeping himself in shape. But, we took this very seriously in terms of his, what's happened over the last year, the anger management stuff. Again, this is not just, let's, ice your ankle every day until it gets better. It's a different deal. And I think, Draymond has needed the space to be away in order to work on that.
You mentioned yesterday in your pregame comments that there hasn't been a ton of back and forth conversation with Draymond. Have you gotten a sense as to where he is in his treatment or in his process, shall we say, as it pertains to when he might be able to come back and start resuming some activity with the team?
Well, he's in good spirits. We've been texting, and he's doing great. The league has to decide when they're going to lift the suspension, and I don't know when that will be. Frankly, for me, I've got enough to think about and worry about each day, preparing game plans, getting ready for the next opponent. So I'm not even thinking about it until the league lifts the suspension, and we'll just keep carrying on with our work.
Are they in contact with you on that? Like, do you get any guidance at all about a timeline?
Mike Dunleavy is kind of handling that, and they're going through their process and protocol with Draymond and with Mike, so they're dealing with that. I'm coaching the team, so it's nothing to report at this point.
Yeah, is there? Is there a chance this goes way longer than anyone was thinking? Is there a chance that Draymond's not going to be back this year?
I mean, I don't know that there was ever any timeline given. When someone is suspended indefinitely, that just means they're suspended indefinitely. There was never a time frame given, and so we're just going along with the process. And as I said, I'm busy with the team, and Draymond's working on his stuff, and the league will work with us, and we'll see where it all goes.
Has this changed the organizational feelings about Draymond Green in any way? I know there's disappointment and frustration in the frequency of incidents, but in a more general global sense, has this changed or soured the relationship between the two at all?
No. I mean, we have so much history. Draymond and I, this is 10 years for us since we've been together. And as far as the organization, with Joe Lacob and Draymond have been together 12 years now. We've been through so much together, ups and downs, and we love Draymond, and it's a great relationship. Obviously, what's happened over the last year, it has been disappointing, and we are really counting on Draymond, to make some strides with this stuff, and we're confident that he will be able to, and that he'll be able to come back and play at a high level.
Steve Kerr with us on Willard and Dibs. Coach, I'm mindful of a couple of things that you've said to us, even in recent weeks. I can remember at the start of the year, you really like this roster. You've also said even today, right now this is who we are. And Mike Dunleavy said that, by about mid-January, it would be time to start assessing things. Do you still feel the same way about the roster, and what is the potential openness to adjustments in the next 5 weeks?
Yeah, I do still feel the same way, and I think we are going to be better. I think what's been tricky is just between the suspensions and then some of the struggles early on for Wiggs and Clay. We just haven't, hit our stride. We haven't had that couple of weeks where everybody kind of started, playing well together and found a rhythm and, found rotations. And so it's been a mixed bag for sure. But I still believe, I think that both Clay and Wiggs have played way better here the last couple of weeks. I think it's in us to be a really good team. I believe that. And that's, my job as coach is to keep us moving forward through all the choppy waters and get to that point where we can hit our stride and play our best.
How do you help Wiggs continue to get over those struggles? Maybe get back in the starting lineup and get back to the place where he was, Steve, about a year and a half ago, where he was a 34, 35-minute a night guy and a real impactful player, as opposed to kind of been relegated to being a seventh man?
Well, I think you've seen strides here the last couple of weeks. He's really playing well. He's shooting the ball much better. He's more aggressive. He looks more athletic, more bouncy to me. So I think he's on the right track, and I think his minutes are going to go up.
Coach, we probably should have jumped this at the beginning. Would love an update on Gary Payton II.
Well, we won't have an update until tomorrow. I know he has been getting imaging today. I haven't heard anything yet, so we'll have an update tomorrow. But it's not looking like something that's going to be a matter of days. I mean, it's going to be longer than that. And unfortunately for Gary, I mean, 2 games, he gets back from that long layoff for the calf, and 2 games later he gets injured again. So I feel terrible for Gary.
Coach, it's interesting to hear you talk about sort of the disruptions you've experienced and how that's affected your play. So what do you think about this? Do Do you guys feel like you know kind of what your identity is right now?
Well, if you look at the numbers, we're over the last 10 games, we're third in the league in offense. So we're trending in a really good direction in that regard. Unfortunately, we're 25th in defense. Before that, we were sort of middle of the pack in both areas. And when you add all that together, you've got our record, right? So, I mean, the Bill Parcells line, you are what your record says you are. So we're seeing all this, and we're examining everything. We watch the tape every day, but we're looking at the numbers. And what we're really searching for is, two-way lineups, the best two-way lineups we can find. And that's not an easy thing. I mean, the best teams in the league are top 5 in offense and defense, or at least top 10. And that's what we were for almost a decade, here. So that's the challenge right now is finding lineups that can be really good at both ends, and we haven't been able to find that yet.
What do you do defensively now without GP2 and Draymond still suspended? Is Moses Moody a player that now gets an increased role as a guy who potentially can help you as a two-way player?
He's always a possibility, and right now he's out of the mix because of the way that we've decided to go with the rotations and certain combinations we're looking at. That's the biggest thing for us is we see patterns on tape and analytically, like certain combinations we want to try to get to and certain combinations we want to avoid. And so when you try certain lineups, it leaves certain people out, and then maybe you try something different. So we understand. We've been searching, and that's what you have to do when you're 500. You've got to search. You've got to find something that clicks. And so, unfortunately for Moses, right now we're looking at some other combinations. But I know him well. He's an unbelievable young guy. He's got great character, great work ethic, and he'll find his way back into the rotation soon.
Coach, I know you answer this a lot this year about the rotation and minutes, and you've talked about math. And I look, guys want to play. That's obvious. Jonathan Kuminga has said some things after games, sort of suggesting it's out of his hands. I wonder, with this particular group, how are you handling that? How do you talk to young players about minutes?
I'm just really honest with them. That's the only way it works. You just lay it out there. And same thing that I'm saying to you guys, I say to our guys. Moses right now is out of the rotation, so I tell them that. I tell them, hey, we're going to look at these combinations instead, and stay ready, and your chance is going to come back around. And I have these conversations with my players every single day. That's the job, and we have great guys. That's the main thing. And yes, they're frustrated when they don't play. They should be. I don't have any problem with guys being frustrated as long as they keep working and as long as they keep supporting the team. And that's what our guys do.
Steve, I can't help but think to myself to ask you how you're doing, because this is the last year of your contract, and I know you're very much a stay-in-the-moment guy, but do you think a lot about your status and what your plans are, and whether or not you want to keep grinding away at all of the on-court stuff and the off-court drama as well?
I love what I do, guys. I mean, every year is different, and you don't get to win the championship every season, obviously. But every season is different, and this year has been challenging for sure. But I love it. I love going to work every day. I love the camaraderie that exists in that building. Love seeing my fellow coaches. Love seeing all the players. So I want to keep doing this. It's if you're lucky enough to wake up and be excited about what you're doing every day, you should probably keep doing it. So that's my plan.
Coach, you've maintained every time that subject comes up that you want to be here and you have zero worries. But maybe you can understand this. I think, and I'll speak just for me, but I think a lot of fans are starting to get a Bob Myers feel about the contract situation in terms of like why it's still out there.
Yeah, I mean, this is just normal business. This is how these things go. Everyone wants to have a feel for for where things are and where the team is and where all the questions that exist have to be assessed from both sides. And then obviously the money is and the years and all that stuff. It's all just normal business stuff. So as I said, I'm not alarmed at all. This is more about just finding common ground and getting it done. And then I'm confident that'll happen.
Steve, I know Joe Lacob a little bit. You want me to make a call on your behalf?
I'm good. I talked to Joe today. We had a great conversation, and we're lucky here. We when you think about what this organization has done over the last 15 years since Joe bought the team, it's incredible. It's amazing, and the resources he provides for this team and for our organization. The quality of people he's brought in, pretty incredible. So this is a great place to work, great place to live, and we're everybody with the Warriors. We all know how lucky we are.
Coach, is there kind of a mental thing about getting back above 500? I know that all the games matter, but another opportunity over these next few days to kind of get back above 500. How much does that matter to the guys right now?
Yeah, I mean, we briefly got to that point the other day, and then flip back below. It'd be nice to get back above 500. But regardless, it's really about the consistency of our play and hitting our markers. The areas where we've got to improve. Transition defense has not been great this year. That's something we've been harping on. Defending without fouling, you guys hear that all the time. The one thing we have been doing a great job is taking care of the ball. Over the last 10, we're averaging 13 turnovers a game, which is top 10 in the league. So we're making some strides, but we got to put it all together. And because almost every game that we play goes down to the wire. I think we've played more close games than any team in the league. So we got to win more games in the margins with the detailed stuff, and that's what we're harping on.
All right. Well, Coach, congrats on the win last night, and go get them against Denver tomorrow night. And thanks as always. We'll talk to you next week.
You got it. All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Coach.
All right. There it is. Steve Kerr right here on Willard and Dibs on 95.7 The Game.